going towards A specifically. It's something we saw before, so I want to see if that's something they go to again, or if we see a slightly varied up look. It does seem as though it's the B round on the pistol for them, up on the attack, leading one map to the good. So the A piece coming through, and a very defensively postured defensive side. They are not playing actively on the sides, they're playing in the choke point slightly further back. Look at the Omen, look at the Cypher. It looks like a retake.
Yeah, Aaron wisely not coming into challenge initially, so important thing to watch here is whether or not Davidp's allowed that B lobby control or somebody's going to come through with the flank. It looks like majority of the pressure going to come through market and the defensive spawn. And that's usually difficult. There's 4 players pinned down towards site. Davidp's going to be the anchor man for this. So let's see what they can get done here on the retake.
Yeah, this would be excellent trading from this retaking side. Good utility usage. Sayf going to find some value there towards Pit, but Mixwell claiming Yacine takes away a little bit of this punch, and they have to wait out the smoke. You walk through, you're going to die, and Mixwell's going to claim that easily towards Ziz. You can see them try to chase him down, but Mixwell, he's buying time. Nice work. Better play from paTiTek and Davidp instantly to capitalize on that, putting just so much pressure. I like the idea of the retake, but Mixwell is just a king at buying time, and Aaron's going to shut down ardiis, but it's all too little too late. And the first round goes to G2.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely bang on the money there. Even Mixwell just staying alive that long, it's all eating time. And it keeps them off the site at the end of the day. So really, really good stuff from G2. And that's, I mean, it's a big round to get the attack and pistol round on Ascent, to be honest with you. You got to maybe question the fear of not challenging there, but I definitely think committing to the 5v5 retake is the right option, and I feel like there maybe should have been some presence to attack that from 3 points as opposed to just the 2 of market and defensive spawn.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. I think if you're going to play that heavy on the retake, why not try and get a little mid lurk? Bit there towards Yacine. Just keeping tabs on everything. This should be a goer. Shouldn't take too many casualties. There is a shorty lingering around. Okay, that's a curious one from paTiTek, but I guess he finds the info maybe he didn't want, but Mixwell's gonna start loving this, surely. Oh, he's outdone by bonkar. Okay, a couple of fumbles here. Now, again, it's small, but the win conditions, or even the kind of, you know, ticks that you put in the box off the back of a pistol up against even a slight bias, get a couple of guns away.
Yeah, David's got to be careful with this Phantom in his hands as well, because Bonkar's playing close with the classic Pit here to back him up. The spy cam will give the information away that he's still lingering on the ramp. But again, I think they're just going to look to do a little bit of damage here, Lauren. David, got to be careful again. The shorty's tagged him up to about half HP.
They've got him locked on the side for now. They could do a lot of damage to the economy. If they get the rifles away, that's brilliant. Nice little head, well, not even a headshot, but a close enough upper body shot, but ardiis outdoes. Excuse me? Excuse me?
No.
Excuse me? No. Oh my dear God, that was too close. We almost saw our first actual ninja defuse.
Again, the worrying thing though, only one member of G2 pulled back there as well. And again, the spike plant position, a big factor in that. It allowed the 2 Radianite crates on point to be used as a defensive shield. That was worrying for a second.
That's squeaky bum time. You've made a mess in your pants. There might be a pause now, because you don't love to see that. It makes you a little anxious. But we do see the buy round coming in, 2 of course to the good for G2 so far. So Bonk could really do with an answer back. Let's see how well they hold this. I like the passive Sova towards the back by spawn rather than actively towards middle. A bit of an aggressive-ish stack towards A long, pushing out, garnering information. So these players playing mid and that B link better be ready. That's surprising. Ziz was a little caught out by that, considering the presence. This is a fumble and a great exploitation by G2, but with the information Bonk had, I thought they'd be on the ball with that.
Yeah, and again, I mean, for me, as soon as there's 2 players committed to that long push, leave one, send the other one back for the rotation, because you know where the hit's coming. And G2, well, I was about to say they take no casualties, but Yacine going to find Mixwell and then get caught out in mid himself. But that was obviously after the spike went down, so a little bit of a mid lurk coming through here. Bonk, I guess, going to try and save 2 weapons on the board here, because they can try and get something going in the next round. But yeah, a little bit weird. It's to get that early round information from that deep as well. I mean, one important thing to notice there, they didn't destroy the trap wire in the spawn. So if this round would have gone any longer, Pat didn't get that entry on market. G2 wouldn't have actually had the information that flank was even possible.
There's silver linings that we're getting from this from Bonk, but we do need a round on the board sooner rather than later, because we know what happens with G2. It is a snowball team. When they start feeling confident, when they get those rounds, they get the economy, they don't let it go. And the economy was a bit of a contested point initially, but now you're seeing people sitting on 5k, 4.8. They can drop out a little bit. And speaking of dropping people out, I don't know how Bonk's going to spread the wealth here. It's going to be a shoddy buy at best. They might be able to kind of get a couple rifles here and there, but it's going to be bulldogs and maybe a couple other slightly lacking weapons. And this 4-1 split looks like it could be a B piece, but with that presence of Sayf towards middle, they can always use mid to hit those rotations if they don't get an early pick.
Yeah. Interesting recon bolt there from ardiis. We don't often see him miss those, but no information going to be gained off that one at all. And it looks like Davidp is going to wall up through the window, but that's the second time in 2 days we've seen him mess that one up. So unfortunately not going to get any value off that instead. They are still challenging here at the entrance, but deciding to come back and maybe revisit mid a little bit. Yacine's got himself tucked all the way in short cubby. He's actually going to find pyth all the way at top mid, and he will escape with his life as well. So a good little win for Bonk there.
It's going to reset the pace slightly. That's going to keep a little bit less flexibility with G2 now. The brilliance of having that cipher towards the top of middle gives you that, ability to hit those rotations, knowing that mid is open for you. But with that gone, it does limit them. So they might have to just fall back to this B hit. Pop of the ult. And with the information from Ray still pouring through, they've got to know it's this B hit. Ready and waiting, bonkar goes down. The hit's still deadly as you'd expect from G2, but they are suffering some casualties. The Bulldog doing the best it can to hold on to this, but for now, this 2v3, they might want to hold to get that raise in position. Yeah,
and Pat is hurting right now. The heal did go off, but it hadn't ticked over enough. He was still super, super low in the spy cam. Still tucked away at the back of lane, and there you go. It's going to give Davidp's position up, so it's just down to ardiis now. He's all the way back in boathouse. Not going to find the first one, but does find Sayf on the second peek. And okay, a blast back just straight through the doorway will find him, and the defuse will come through.
Again, Cypher, super great approach to using utility. I want to look back at that. I'd watch that again. The ability to peek in towards a site with the combination. I think it was Yacine coming through and a couple of the other players getting there in the correct amount of time. They didn't push two individually. I like the way they capitalized on paTiTek on the site. Maybe this was a little, it could have been punished, but it's a risk reward factor. You want to catch the player trying to get away from the bomb site, and you gamble it a little bit. And that time it worked out so well. So they brought it back to a way more manageable scenario. Very nicely done from Bonk, and a well-needed round. And
this is one thing here. Again, G2 reacting to the previous round. They know Yacine showed some mid-presence. That's us up on the camera. We're going to switch back to the game. But Mixer are now getting boosted up to hold this short push. And this time around, he's going to cover for Davidp to push all the way and tuck himself behind the crates there before falling down. And again, I love that switch up from G2. They know that they were punished by something in a previous round, and they act based on it. And this time, we're going to see a little bit of a push up short in towards Garden. Aldo not finding anything, but Sayf with the counter wall here. Showstopper getting popped. No, hasn't been let rip just yet. Yeah.
Pat's got himself in a really fun spot here. This could be really good. I think Yacine's got a really good idea where he might be. Oh, the timing! Way better for paTiTek. Excellent blind. Big pressure. This is a big outplay. This is why paTiTek can be an excellent omen. He gets taken down by a bang through the wall. Sayf says goodbye, but G2, we're going to bound off the back of that. They're on the site. They're tucked in. This is going to be a quick bit of pressure coming back through from Bonk. They want a bit of this. Davidp with a quick res. The wall goes up, the door goes down, and so do the players. Nicely done so far from Bonk. They're not letting it slip, and look at that spike. hypoc, it's in the open.
Yeah, and actually ardiis, he's got no choice but to challenge there. And Sayf will find his third on the round. That was a really impressive recovery. Like you said, a great amount of pressure coming in from Pat, from the shadows all the way into a disgusting position in hell. Gets the pick onto Yacine. That removes the showstopper, and then also the paranoia through scaffold. Again, holds them out of sight for so long, but they can't capitalize. They can't take a grip of the site itself.
This is big, really, really big stuff for Bonk. Keep in mind, this is always going to be G2's home. This is their comfort pick. This is their home stadium. So you see a couple of rounds that look good for Bonk. We got to give it credit. Now G2, of course, we haven't seen the best of them yet. It's still early days. We're, you know, 5 rounds in. But let's see what they've got up their sleeve. How much more can they bring here? That looks like it. Oh, Bonker, you just got caught with your pants down. Mixwell doing it dirty. Ziz is there, but by now the rest of the attacking side should hit that site. Try and bounce off the back of that little bit of aggression. The one-way cages are going up, and they're trying to hinder this aggression. But look at that spike kiss, hypoc. It's not here at B. Yeah,
this is completely baited out the rotation of Bonk. No trap wire to give the information away that are coming in. Yacine slowly making his way back up ramp here. Sayf will get Bonkar back on his feet. But it's going to be an A hit here. Oh, Yacine has timed it perfectly.
Needs to back away now. He's done the job. He's done everything he needs to do. Wait for support, even if the spike goes down. Let him get it. You don't need to risk your life on that. Now you got Sage with you. Have a little bit of a go. Maybe offer yourself up for the trade. Healed back up to 100, sitting pretty. Yacine is playing beautifully thus far. Gonna try and clear towards dark. Fakes it. We can see if they can draw out the play. paTiTek, what are you up to? Switching up to the Phantom. I don't know if it's an upgrade in his hands. He looks so talented, even on just the Marshall. But Aaron to find Davidp, and it's a job done again for Bonk for stand. Even off the back of some of these very individually talented picks that are coming through. We're seeing so many good elements. You know, that Mixwell aggression, sure, it looked great, but that composure. Bonker back in the game.
Yeah, I actually love that as well. Just to recap quickly, the dark cover comes down, covering B entrance, and Mixwell reads the owl drone perfectly. He peeks into the dark cover and knows that it's looking in the cubby, so he can walk straight through the dark cover, uses the tailwind to get up close and personal on Bonkar, who's just stood at the edge of lane. Just a really fantastic entrance. It's unfortunate G2 can't convert off that, but really interesting round then. Yeah, this is a heavy stack on both sides.
Oh, this is going to be juicy. Here we go. Yacine's over here as well. They see one for sure, but do they know where the op is? Now, we know ardiis gets great success with the ultimates coming through. This time, not so much. There it is. ardiis does find Yacine. He always seems to get one, but Bonker shows a bit back. So a 2-for-1 trade out, but for the attacking side to get an early pick. And look at this presence in middle. Big play from Davidp while everyone else was leaning towards A, but he goes down. Ziz is holding his ground, but he's got a lot more players coming over towards that site.
Yeah, Aldrone going to try and fish out something from market here. Ziz going to find pyth, and that goes unpunished for the time being. Uses the shrouded step to break line of sight and get back in. Again, playing his life very effectively. Bonk still with the man advantage now that Ziz has managed to stay alive.
This looks like one of those you hold and see if ardiis can get you a pick. You've got 45 seconds. Let him work for a sec. And here it goes. He knows there's someone tucked on the site. He knows there's someone around. Sayf finally comes over, but ardiis, he's so good in these scenarios. That's 2 big picks, 3 overall, but those 2 were paramount to the success. Now, Sayf, what can you do in a 1v2? Absolutely nothing. Big boy ardiis says no, and that is why he's such a key player. Sometimes in those kind of 2v3s, 2v2s, you almost want to let ardiis just have a go at it. You want to let him off the leash a little.
Yeah, ardiis, again, I talked about his flex onto the Sova. On this map in particular, Sova is just such a powerful agent. Most of the walls and materials on this map are made of paper. So the recon bolt onto site there, he sits behind switch and just finds a freebie. No reason to risk a challenge onto site. Really smart use of utility, and we see ardiis doing it time and time again.
A long fight again. They fancy it. But you seem a little bit more aware this time. paTiTek up and over. Oh, the reveal. That's an... What? That flick. ardiis trades it out in the end, but it's a big one to start with. But it's going to be, I'm pretty sure it's Ziz in mid who's going to have to deal with a lot more players there. Big ones coming through as well. Davidp the first to fall. Information being gone that A is completely open, but Ziz, well, he can hit a TP if he fancies, but they're going to have to get towards A quickly. The spike's on the way. Bonker's going to see it. They know what's happening now, but how do they stop it?
Pick gets stacked by the Aldro, just B hopping around for a little bit. Response Aldro coming through here, but no wallbang possible. And I guess that's going to be a little bit of a standstill now. 3v3 though, so definitely doable if Bonk want to go for this.
Mixwell's all about timing in this position. He gets it right, he wins these. ardiis going to find Aaron. There it is. That's the combination he is. The steps he takes a swing. He never gets into danger. Bonkar surely doesn't read the position. Surely not. He's heard where Mixwell is, but by this point it's too little too late. Gonna do the damage on the last 3 bullets, but the round goes to G2. But this is a very good game between these two teams.
Yeah, and I mean, even that there, it's just a little confidence booster for Bonk. Even though they lose the round, bonkar hitting some really nice shots and a good clearance, even if it's too late, Lauren. So it's good to see nonetheless. And I mean, the scoreline, this is probably one of the closer ones we've seen G2 go through. It's only 5-3 right now. Bonk, I guess, able to invest a little bit back into this.
They could break the economy if they get away with it. You know what I mean? Like, look at the other side's econ is pretty poor, but oh dear, if they just go for this all-in B hit.
Get out of my way.
Bonkar's in trouble, but he is one of the only players with a rifle, I guess.
Yeah, he is. Bladestorm gets popped. Mixwell going to try and get up in the face of bonkar again. Davidp gets found in the window, and that's a huge kill to go through. Ziz actually going to find Pat with the ghost as well, and bonkar swings out on the paranoia. This is a fantastic hold.
That just a little bit of utility coming out from Ziz was great, but here comes pyth, the rock of the team. He finally gets chipped away at by Aaron, and now we're left with ardiis in a 1v3. But if there's a player you want in one of these, it's probably him. But he's going to have to dig deep on this. These angles, they can be tough to clear, but they're not too complementary. So he could be able to isolate some of these 1v1s. And that's what he's considering. He's got his ult. He's got a bit of util left. Bonkar's on red alert. He's like, okay, the spike's down on Cat. I know it, but ardiis just took down Aaron. And now it's going to be ardiis again working his way forward. Bonkar gets the timing right. And now ardiis, a little unaware, a little unsure, but still crisp as ever. And I love this readjustment from Bonk. Now time starts to tick. He knows he's going to have to hop up in the end. They're trying to make a little bit of a crossfire on the floor. What? Where's the miscommunication? Sayf was the safety net, but that could have been so dangerous. I thought the crossfire was meant to be complimentary, but a bit of a bait at the end. But hey, if it gets you the round, it ain't bait. It's just being clutch.
No, it was a good trade. There was planned the whole time there.
You reckon?
Yeah, sure.
We'll go for that. But look what that's done to the economy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There was three players under 1,000 credits in the previous round. Now it looks like we might see a couple of stingers, a couple of light armors, maybe a sheriff or two. But G2 looking to, I guess, in terms of damage, just take something away from Bonk here, because 5-4, you don't want to let the last couple of rounds escape you when you've had this impressive. Oh, Hunter's Fury going to get invested actually from ardiis. I don't think he got a tag with the owl drone there, so kind of just throwing that one out there.
I'm kind of looking at this. The one thing I want to say is I like the way Bonk are positioning here. They're sitting deep on the sites. They're not allowing easy picks to happen against pistols, because we've seen what Mixwell can do when he's on that sheriff. He can just die into the site. He can get him. So I like the way they're making him work for it. They're not sitting on these close angles. I would say, of course, short is always going to be a danger. It's a more close quarter, right? It gets you that bit of freedom. So these two A players, Cypher can get over there eventually, but these two are going to have to be raring to go, because you're seeing the util come in. They've got to know what's coming their way. You're seeing the pressure mount. They could potentially split through spawn with the door down. They don't have the full information. This Cypher's got to be on point here.
Yeah, this is going to be big if the timing doesn't work out. Aaron's actually going to find ardiis coming up through window, and Mixwell will trade it with the shorty, but bonkar good to get the response there. Hunter's Fury invested back up towards heaven, but Yacine not getting relayed the information, I guess, and David will find Sayf as well. So Spike will go down here. Bonk find themselves in a 2v3 retake in a round you gotta say they should have had a grip on.
The miscommunication to think that heaven was clear there is going to haunt them. Now, of course, G2 are on the lighter buy, but they've surely got to have gotten some of those rifles back. So at this point, pyth posted up on short. You do have the Sober about to swing through, but there's a time limit on this. They don't have all the time in the world to play this one back in now on the retake.
Especially on a save round as well, with the wall blocking off door. They're not going to expect pyth to lurk at all. Ziz will find David, and there you go. pyth comes through and finds bonkar. Really good read from that situation from G2 side. And pyth, again, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, right? If your Cypher is getting impact kills like that in the post-plant scenario, absolutely fine with them having this scoreline in the game, because they're important kills, Lauren.
Oh, they're huge, and I want to I really want to see pyth find a place with the sheriff. I really hope he runs it more because honestly, if any of you watched him back in the day, you'll know how good he was. He was nuts on. It was when he was in NA. I think it was for like luminosity or something weird. He was just crazy with it. So I'd love to see that. But speaking of the G2 side, Davidp with a perfect start. Gonna find one, and that's gonna open up A massively. Yacine's in trouble. Knows it too. Needs to fall away, but they don't have much to play with here. Yacine, I didn't see armor on him, so they're definitely suffering. Even though he's got the op, he doesn't have that stay. He can't withstand any of this spam coming through right now.
Yeah, and this is when the utility becomes mixed. Well, what is that angle? I didn't know that one existed, but ardiis will find a shock bolt kill onto bonkar, and before I could even finish my sentence about utility usage, he finds a kill with it. I think now Bonk gonna back up, maybe try and find an exit or two, and okay, thank you, Ziz. That one nearly went amiss.
Oh, Aaron's dead. Do they survive with these guns? G2 should hunt this. They know they should as well.
Yeah, punish them.
They've got like, what, Mixwell's got 4.3 in the bank on the rifle, fully geared up. This would trash the opponents. That'd really make them work for it. It'd be a little bit harder. How much time do they have left? Not a lot to find them. 2 more seconds. Yacine's gonna find one. He needs to stay alive here. Nice work.
Yeah.
And yeah, keeps the gun. Good work there. But let's look at that scoreboard now. Because it's 7-4. It's closing in on the end of the half here. Is this enough, do you think, for Bonk?
I mean, if you make the comparison, usually, I think the worst defensive half we've seen G2 have on this map has been like, I mean, what was it against Party Powers? I think it was only like 8 rounds, right? So you look at an 8-4 scoreline, and here we're looking at them doing the flip side of that on attack. So it's definitely a consideration to make, but I think the way Bonk playing, Yacine gonna burst out with the showstopper there. Find the freebie and back up. That's really good use of utility there.
That's so good. That is such a dirty little way to start things off. I was like, wait, is this gonna be one of those moments where you see that tens approach? We got the res coming out, gonna force that, but I guess not the end of the world considering the round scenario. But they definitely know what the game plan was. And look at the Sayf for the defensive team. Instantly trying to get that mid information, trying to box the offensive side in towards spawn almost. But there's the TP. That's gonna make them worry about the spike, even though the Omen does not have the spike. They're going to be cautious about it. Now, paTiTek finding Ziz is going to really throw them through a loop.
Yeah, now they've got...
Oh, Sayf! This is absolute filth!
My word.
And Aaron's just stopped it all as well. This is a great round. They're behind enemy lines. Sayf is a beast. And honestly, I was impressed with Sayf in map 1. Map 2 he's come alive, but now we have to see paTiTek going above and beyond. But look at the HP, it's so low. Surely this is going to be Bonk with 5. Oh, he's just about... He's going down. Aaron's got him in the end, but what a good half from both sides. I think we've seen G2 being pushed. This is what we want.
It absolutely is. I mean... Sayf has just looked phenomenal, and to see somebody that plays as well on Phoenix, I mean, it's heartbreaking. I know you're just as heartbroken as me. To see him flex back onto the Sage for Ascent, because we've seen some pretty special stuff elsewhere in the world when it comes to Phoenix, but I mean, he's absolutely insane on both agents. It's fantastic to see, and like you said, the operator usage is not something we usually see with Phoenix, but he makes it work. And again, it's the same as yesterday. Sayf was kind of, you know, the backbone of their performance alongside Yacine, and to do it from that role is just so fantastic to see. All right.
It's not easy to break these boys on defense, though. Let's kind of take, you know, we're all excited that Bonk's pushing them. But G2 are great on this map for a reason, and this side, this half, is extremely good. If they can exploit middle, it did open up opportunities for other teams to split through towards B, but you do have to get past Mixwell and ardiis, which is no light duo to come up against. The timing, it's going to be atrocious. Mixwell, good for one, but the second not traded back in. They know where this player is. Yacine going to spam it out, investing all that util, and he gets it. Lovely damage done. And the weakness is now found, so it's a 3v1 on the site if they went quickly. The Omen and the Cypher for the defensive side can't over-rotate. They don't have all the information.
No, actually, Davidp just peeking lane. He's going to take a little tag, but it's not going to hurt him too much. Switch gets flipped, and the door will close to market. But Davidp's timed this perfectly to get himself out of sight. I think Bonk is still going to try and clear this. They're going to assume he stayed here, obviously. So Davidp's done fantastically well to find Aaron as well. And Pat comes in, finds Sayf on site while they're still hunting. This is a good recovery from G2.
Yeah, that playback in coming, you're right. It was the positioning and the timing of Davidp to get there to be the additional man on the site, right? Like, that looked to me like Bonk were about to get it. If they got that quick spike down, but they didn't have all the information. They didn't know that the site was clear. They had to clear all those corners. And with Davidp knowing that, he just sprung in. He was right there, ready to go. And this is why we say this is a great map for Davidp. Yes, he's had some up and downs. Well, not even up and downs. One bad performance on it recently.
Down.
Yeah, exactly. One blip on the radar, but traditionally he is outstanding on this map.
Yeah. Yeah, really heads up play from him here. A heavy A presence here, and Pit's going to hear it and see it on the spy cam, so he knows exactly what's coming. Just going to come back and try and play time here. The dark cover comes out, and the paranoia as well. He's actually going to swing out during the flash, so will lose his life for it, but finds one regardless. And they will get the spike down here. Some blast pack damage going up towards Evan. That could be a big factor, considering they haven't got many weapons on the board.
You're right, and this isn't a huge investment from G2. They're light on armor in some scenarios, but at the most part, they are way overly geared in comparison to the opponents. There's got to be a couple of kills to come in quickly if they fancy a chance, and it looks like Xiz is going to be tasked to do so much and too much. ardiis and Mixwell on the play back in, get things going, and I didn't like what Pit did there, but, you know, maybe he bought enough time. Maybe he felt he had to do something. Being passive wasn't the answer, but no matter which way you want to cut it, it was a good cleanup. 3 stand for G2. They can invest around this. The money has been kept quite humble, but, you know, no insta-op, no easy purchases going forward, but they still are almost closing in on those double digits.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to consider. 2 kills and a spike down will give them that flexibility to purchase full utility. Sometimes back in the 3rd round, you know, if you forced up pistols for round 2, you don't have that opportunity, but everybody going to be sitting pretty now with the buy from Bonk. Pit's probably going to swing again here, and he's going to get met by Yacine again, and this time he comes out on top of it. And actually, Pat and Mixwell tucked in short cubby means that they could walk out onto site for free because the spy cam's not available.
Oh, the timing. Oh, no. He's been seen. All right, there it is. A little unfortunate. You'd have liked to have had maybe that as a little bit of a trick up your sleeve. paTiTek not able to capitalize on what he'd like, but the mid battle is so far tilting in favor to G2. Mixwell going to find the big pick there. Davidp going to join in on Xiz, and suddenly the pressure is being alleviated pretty quickly.
Yeah, 2 from Bonk will fall. And again, now they're so good at punishing. As soon as they get the information, obviously they see the spike. As soon as it gets dropped, you can just see how quickly they collapse. They've lost a site, but Bonk aren't able to capitalize and get an entry there. And now it just falls to Yacine, and this is that relentless playstyle we've become so used to seeing from G2. It's just, I mean, what can you do when a team reacts that quickly?
There's not much you can do. There's a reason why this is one of the best maps for G2. They're very good at playing it. It complements them very well. They still have that great grip on capitalizing on any advantage they're given. If there's a mistake made, they're going to be right on that. There's no 2 ways about it. And for Bonk, it's got to start now. You got to find a little bit of something here. You got to get that round on the board. And you can see the economy. It's just not in the right place for it.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to assume this is going 11 rounds for G2 unless Bonk can dig deep. And one thing I will say is I picked up on it in the last map, but they haven't been as quick to capitalize on the thrifty rounds on Ascent. On Haven, we kind of saw them just go, right, balls to the wall. We'll invest maybe 1 stinger, 2 stingers, and a light armor, and we'll go for it. Here, we haven't seen the same thing. Again, on a thrifty round, pretty default setup here. Just looking for an entry as opposed to committing to something.
You can hear Raze popping the ult. Not seeing it find its target. I just put up towards Heaven. paTiTek down towards Dark. Mixwell towards Yacine. Nice and easy for Mixwell. Making it look so comfy. And so far, they've really made this tricky. You're going to see the spike heading towards mid, so it is a bit of a, you know, bait and switch. But it's still going to be an incredible uphill battle. If they, I don't know what you can really do with this. With bonkar being lost, I think they know they've been kind of dealt with this round. No easy step towards a site, and that stinger not really going to really find much placement, I feel.
No, Ziz was looking for something to get into the defensive spawn. Mixwell will clean it up with the Blade Storm, but again, as soon as they got all the way to market, they were actually double stacked up there. I feel like maybe just try and find something on B. I mean, Davidp's timing, it's pretty phenomenal there to catch the peek through. But yeah, it worked so well for them in the previous map. I wonder why they're treating it so differently here. I'm not quite sure.
Did others buy armor?
About to find out, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, we've got the mid split coming in. And so much mid attention from G2. Now, that's a different look here. Yacine going to win the fight against Mixwell, but the trade's there for Davidp. Davidp, the specialist, always finding a little bit of silver lining on this map. Now, Sayf going to try and maybe get some presence building himself to try and keep check towards short. So for now, this mid scrap is continuing, and G2 are willing to fight this out. They have the round lead. Why wouldn't they be?
It is. It's G2 can kind of throw one or two away if they want to take the death match with Bonk. But looking like Spike's gonna rotate through short here, and actually all three players from G2 are feeling as if it's gonna be a B hit, because pyth making his way all the way through defensive spawn. Neither of the trapwires have been destroyed. One of them's just been popped now, so the information going to be relayed. Davidp will get the revive on ardiis, but Yacine there to refrag that one and find David? What?
I love the late lurk in middle. Yacine is just going ham right now. Yeah, the spike's down, but Yacine is just holding them all back. That could be another. He doesn't get it. pyth does take him down in the end, but Yacine is worth his weight in gold at this point. You don't lose this anymore. pyth on 80 HP. Probably just going to try and keep the gun, maybe. No need to feed. 27 HP. You don't love to see that. They're probably going to hunt this down. I mean, honestly, it was a nice little lean towards A. It was the right read, but having that player late lurking towards middle, perfect.
Oh, please check this corner.
Safe.
No.
Oh, no.
He knifed him. Oh. You hate to see it.
You love to see it.
Yeah.
Nah, you got to check the corners. Aaron, I mean, this is something that goes into even very established FPS games. Checking corners with actual intent. It's something you'll hear analysts harp on about because it can be such a downfall. People just, you know, they'll check it without purpose. They'll check it very lazily just because they're like, ah, maybe. But yeah, they didn't even check it. So anyway, into this one, we do see the op out for Mixwell. So we hadn't seen this look yet. We hadn't seen him really banking on the op, and he is good with it on this map. Another mid-stack, though, coming out for G2.
Yeah, Davidp going to wall Mixwell up, and we've seen this again. This is what I was talking about yesterday. That clip of ardiis, and it's going to be exactly the same setup here. He's going to swing towards the steps in mid. Mixwell overlooking, and there you go. ardiis will find Yacine. David will find Ziz. Hunter's Fury gets invested. Sayf will trade that one out, but again here, it's a nice defensive execute from G2.
A lovely little curveball to throw. You highlighted it so well. And I'm glad we got to see it again today. But now the rest of the offensive side needs to kind of bring themselves back together. They're very split across this map. The spike is isolated towards the back of B. So we're going on the long rotation. Obviously, G2 have lost track a little of where they're going because really Bonk are so shattered at this point, but they need to bring themselves back together, and they can probably win a favorable fight on the site. So, you know, two on either side of things. You do still have Mixwell with the op, though, so a bit of a deadly threat to be waiting by B.
Yeah, G2 happy to sit back and just read the situation here. Sayf gonna get Yacine back on his feet, and that will give a bit of information. There's still some mid presence from Bonk, but yeah, going for a 2-2 split, giving up mid and market means they're just gonna commit to hold him back here. Bonk slowly making their way through B lobby, and I mean, Mixwell's going to be ready to land this, and a rare miss from him. Showstopper comes through, doesn't find a kill though.
they're going to get the fight on the site. They're going to get what they want. And Aaron's taking down paTiTek, but Davidp is there. And Davidp, a safe pair of hands. Only good for one, but the time has been bought. 5 seconds on the board. They've got to get the spike down. Nothing can stop it. And that Cypher in the off angle, tucked away, could be the game changer here. Yeah. It's going to deny Mixwell the play back in. They've just got to play this crossfire out. And yeah, he could check on it, but by then, the trade should be available.
Yeah, he's got to stay tucked there. pyth's coming through market now, and you can see the methodical clearance. He's worried about that same corner he was just playing last round, but yeah, he's got to stay tucked in here. It kind of all rests on Aaron. I think pyth has spotted a weapon barrel here, so he's waiting for it.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. He knows it.
My eyes.
Yeah, nice work from pyth. Nice second from pyth. There's no time, is there?
No, there's no time.
Nah, done for. No worries. Takes a second. I'm going deaf in my old age. But nicely handled from Bonk there, considering... I want to kind of look at that in two ways. Your scene goes down, but whatever. Unless they're on an eco, then it's a bit of a bigger deal. But it's not going to probably be the case. It's a little light, to be fair, but it's not the end of the world, but it's not great. You had the great set piece, as you highlighted from G2, but there was an answer from Bonk, which we hadn't seen anyone do yet.
Yeah, and again, a lot of top mid presence, and the Hunter's Fury kind of getting popped as a reaction to that play from G2, and I like to see that. Kind of doubling down. If we're going to lose anybody, we're going to trade out in mid. And there's again, there's not a lot of teams that will invest in doing that. Mixwell going to burst all the way out a lobby there, and you see
Cloud9 play.
Yeah,
you don't get away with that.
10-12.
It was the 10-12 play, and you don't get away with that when someone doesn't get flashed. A little unfortunate. I love the idea of it. Again, this is what you say about those defensive-sided executes or defense aggression. It can work incredibly well.
I know
for now,
exactly
though, the attacking side going to peel away from this. They've definitely done a good enough amount of work. They don't have to overcommit towards A. If they kept going, they'd have run into two pretty well-established players, and they have so much step towards B here.
Look at your minimap. Look where they found Davidp. That blue cross is how far Davidp had pushed out of B lobby.
He likes to go walking.
Yeah. So as soon as that kill comes over, obviously Bonk doing exactly what you're seeing on your screen right now, which is rotating the spike over to B. They managed to get one tucked early into the back of Boathouse, and this one pretty much in the bag for Bonk, and G2, rightfully so, going to try and hold on to some weapons.
And a reminder here, just because maybe people at home don't watch all that much Valorant, you check in every now and then. Why are we so hyped about Bonk winning a couple of rounds? Because not many teams do this. No. G2 are undefeated on this map. No one has won a game against them on Ascent. This is their home territory. This is it.
I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong. This might be incorrect here, but I remember last time I looked at it, the most rounds anybody had got versus G2 on Ascent was 8. And Bonk are about to pick up their 8th.
So excluding that one OT,
there
was Party Parrots, 8 was about the maximum people had got. So credit to them for doing it. This is what you need for Europe, though. I've been saying, I looked at Fish 123, I think most of us did, to being the big opposition for G2, but you know what, throw Bonk in the mix. I don't care. I'll take anyone who's willing to push this and make them play better. That's what you want. 3, 4 really good teams that can definitely strain the opposition and make them play these much, much more competitive games.
Yeah, and ultimately, this is Bonk stepping up to the plate. I don't feel as if G2 are playing poorly here. This is actually Bonk really, really shining.
100%.
We've seen G2 literally dismantle teams on Ascent. And Bonk are actually showing the one concern I had yesterday was how deep is the playbook on all maps. And again, I'm sorry, the bind performance is going to haunt them. This is fantastic to see, Lauren.
Let's see Davidp in his natural environment, always a nuisance, but they hold back a lot of utility here. Bonk don't overcommit. And you're gonna see the rotations from G2. They have to respect this now. Davidp getting a glimpse, considering the wall. And again, more util being drawn off the back of the bomb buddy. A little Roomba going for a clean. But they're going to force a bit of patience here from G2. G2 will probably love a bit of free info. But you can see how they're posturing towards middle and those deep halls over by A. They're waiting for these pushes. They're waiting to see if anyone would dare come out. And you're going to see the brilliance of ardiis with the ultimate. Not going to get much for it this time, but I'd love, down the line, a statistic of how much he gets from that ultimate compared to any other Soba.
Yeah, I actually cursed him yesterday by even mentioning it, because I think the next 3 after I'd said how good he is with it, he managed to not draw anything out of it. But a little bit of a fake as well. You saw the dark cover just fly across the minimap over to the defensive spawn on B site, and you can see Spike has rotated with 4 members of Bonk here.
I'm pretty sure they've seen enough on the site. I don't know if the cage was up early enough, but they're double stacked towards short. Nice work from Mixwell, doing a bit of damage back to them. I thought that was going to be the follow-up, but not to be. Staying safe, trying to hold and commit towards that corner. 5 seconds left, and Mixwell is doing everything he can. He tries to deny the plant. He doesn't get the time on it, but ardiis is there towards Aaron. And now 1 player surrounded, but look at the late flank coming in as well. Sayf goes down. It's all on bonkar. He can't do it. The defuse will come in, and 12 rounds will be put on the board for G2.
Yeah, and I mean, really good late execute from Bonk. I mean, on the back of Mixwell, just getting 2 super clean peaks from the scaffolding. The first one to shut down the showstopper as well, which is an important factor there. If Yacine gets an N2 with that ultimate, you could have argued the round could have gone either way, because Sayf found 2 entries pre-plant there as well. So really good stuff from Bonk again, but G2 just so strong with the retake. And I mean, the money, we can talk about it here, but G2 are on 12 rounds, so it's all or nothing regardless for Bonk here.
Yeah, it is. Here comes the wall in mid. Mixwell uppity over. And it looks like a quicker lean towards B this time. They're definitely trying to take those B halls away from Davidp. Sayf up for the fight towards ardiis. You're going to know that Davidp is there still, but Yacine loses life to that. A bit of a 1-for-1 trade out, but no harm, no foul yet. Let's see how this Omen fight goes towards middle. If paTiTek goes down, then it's a problem. But no, he holds his own, denies Aaron, and suddenly G2 look poised to maybe consider the next map.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the res available as well. As soon as that dark cover comes down, you can see Davidp on the minimap thinking about it, but I mean, why not? You know, you're on 12 rounds, get it back to a 5v3. And here you go. Yeah, he's going to go over and get that. Exactly. Pat now going to get contact on short. Going to use the shrouded step to get the hell out of dodge. But the paranoia comes through, and that's going to slow down the push.
They've got to keep going on this, so the pressure has to keep mounting. Otherwise, the rotations are going to be there so quickly. And paTiTek being the immovable object, he's not letting him in for a second. He wants this over and done with. And, well, what can the remaining player from Bonk do? A casual 1v5 up against one of the best in Europe with a bulldog.
He's timed pit.
How's he done that? How the hell has he done that? He's behind enemy lines. He's a spy. They have no idea. You might... Is Davidp really watching this with a frenzy? Oh, David, you're too smart, too good. Well played, G2. It's a 30-8. Look, Bonk